Hey guys, Angler Allen here. I've got my Zebco collection out and was cleaning some of it up, and I thought I'd share it with you. I'm going to go newest to oldest. This is the newest one that I have. I've got several, but this is one that I've had probably 5 years, 4 or 5 years. It's just the regular old 202, or what people call 202. That's not an O, that's a 0. It's a good one. Zebco, made in China. Quantum, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Quantum owns Zebco. I think they bought the name, bought the rights to it. I could be wrong on that, but I know that Quantum and Zebco are together. That's a good one. Next one is a Zebco 2020. This is a little older one. This one's made in America. This is an actual Zebco, made real. This was back when it was still Zebco. That was here in the States. It's a good one. I don't fish with it, or I haven't fished with it yet. We've had it around the family for a long time. It actually belonged to my uncle, and I just haven't gotten around to cleaning it up and putting it on a rod, but this is it. And it does work, I just haven't fished with it. And this one is 80s, 70s, 80s. I do believe, I could be wrong on that. I don't really know a lot about this one. Next one is the Rhino Tough Zebco. Just the classic 33. Yep, there it is. Rhino Tough American craftsmanship. It's got the anti-reverse. It's got year model 1989, so this is a late 80s model. They don't make them like this anymore. These, if you come across these, you need to snatch them up, because these are very easy to work on, and they are, you hear a lot of people refer to these older Zebcos as lifetime reels, and they really are if you take care of them. They'll last you a long time. The only thing I don't like about these newer ones is the base here, where it goes into the reel seat, is or to the rod seat rather, is they're plastic, and they can break. They can cause problems, but the metal ones can bend, and so they've all got their pros and cons. Now we're going to get into a couple of the old ones, and these are getting up there. This is one from the 60s, late 60s, I believe. This is a Zebco Feather Touch 33, Zebco 33. It's an older one. This how you can tell these are old is if you see this wheel, this tensioning wheel here, this is the drag. That's old. That's getting back in the 60s and even older than that. It's got the bait clicker on it. Made in the USA. Got something on it there. Anti-reverse works. The only thing wrong with this reel is it's missing a handle piece, but it still works. You unscrew this. This is the body to loosen the body up to where you can, that's the cover lock. You can put a penny or dime or anything in there and open that up. Twist these off and get in there and work on them. Feather touch for people who are not, see that's the bait clicker, that are not familiar with what that is. That is when you press this in and you throw, you can press it in again and you can stop the bait. You can stop the lure and you can place it where you want it. It's a cool design. If I didn't have to hold the camera, I would open it up and show you. I might do that one day. I might tear it down and clean it up and videotape it. This next one is really old. This is the older one that I have, and really this one is not mine. This is actually my uncle's, and I have actually serviced it for him, tore it completely down, all the way down. I did it today and got this thing back working for him. This is a Zebco 66. And they made these from around 1954 is when they started making these, and they quit making them in around 64. Some people I have read and some people I've heard talk, they said they made these from 58 to 64. I don't know, so we'll call it mid-50s, mid to late 50s to early 60s is when they made these. This is called a Scotty. It's called a Zebco 66, but they're referred to as a Scotty. Again, it's got the wheel for your drag. Made in USA. This is a real Zebco metal base. It's got the bait clicker and everything on it. Let me see if I can't. It's got 3 settings, 1, 2, 3, and that's a good one, and it works, and it'll still catch fish. But again, it doesn't necessarily, this one doesn't really belong to me. I mean, he'd probably just let me have it and let me keep it, but you know, it's a good old reel, and I will probably end up with it one day, I'm sure. This one's probably my favorite that's mine, the Zebco 33 Feather Touch, and then this one, and then I've got my extreme favorite one, the one that I will not part ways with, is my father's Zebco 404 that he gave me, and I've got it put on a reel or a rod. I did a video earlier of it, and this one I don't really know a lot about. I haven't fished with it, and these newer Zebcos, they're good. They're really good for starter reels. They're good for kids. They're good for ladies that are not really comfortable with throwing a any other reel other than a spin cast. These spin cast reels are easy to fish with, or easy to throw. I mean, you just put it on a rod, bait your hook, rear back, throw it, press the release button, and I mean, that's it. And there's Really not a lot that can go wrong with these reels, and that's the reason why they last so long if you take good care of them. And but again, these metal ones, they are. Oh, and another thing too that I forgot to point out that I wanted to show. All right, we'll use this one from the 60s and this one from the 50s. All right, this hole here at the end of the front of the housing is a little larger than this one. If you see a Zebco reel, where the front of the housing here, the nose of it, the whole end is small. That's old, and you need to, if you care about collecting them or you care about getting your hands on them, you need to snatch it up because it's old. A lot of people like to use these as decoration pieces. They like to get them, clean them up. They don't even use them to fish with. They just set them on the shelf and use them as to decorate man caves and whatnot. But a little history that I found out about the Zebco company. It started actually as the 0 Hour Bomb Company in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1932. I thought that was pretty neat. And around 1949, into the late 40s, they started making spin cast reels. They started getting into this stuff, and that's when they started making the Zebco 33s. And the Zebco 33s, they started making these in 1954, 55, somewhere in there is when they started production of these and pumping these bad boys out. And again, these are literally reels that you buy one time, and as long as you take care of them, service them, open them up, clean them out, you know, put you some real oil or real grease on the insides. They'll last you for. I mean, here's a prime example. I'm 40 years old, and here's a reel that I'm fishing with, that I can fish with, that was made back in the 60s. You know, as old as 60 years old. Here's one that's 60 years old. Here's one that's well over 50 years old. This one's over 30 years old. So if you can buy a reel and take care of it, and it lasts you 30 years, 40 years, that's amazing. Especially if you fish with it, year in and year out. But those are some of the reels that I had. I just wanted to share them with you. And hope you got something out of it and maybe caused your mind to think a little bit about your old Zebco and where it's at. Maybe you can get it out and clean it up and take a kid or take somebody fishing with it. All right, I hope you enjoyed. Y'all have a good one.